First, I want to thank everybody for watching my debut feature film, Train Ride. That literally took me almost 7 years to complete from start to finish. And also what makes it a landmark effort is that it's the late, great Emmy Award-winning actress Esther Roll's last film. The inspiration really for the film is just when I started the project, it was based on a short film I did in grad school that won me a lot of awards nationally, internationally. But really the culmination, the microcosm of the film is really the immorality of young people today, especially between young men and young women relationships. When I was in college, there's a lot of instances just like this one in this film that I saw on a level at Fisk University, which is a predominantly African-American university. Then when I went to Boston University for graduate school, I saw some of the same instances just as dramatic on that level too. So I knew that the topic would be universal in theme, which is a matter of getting it from microcosm script to full-blown film dream. Cast Wood Harris, actually who I met in New York. I actually met him at a festival called Young Black Filmmakers that was at the Schoenberg. And I was the only filmmaker that was not from NYU. There's a young man there named Malcolm Lee who went on to do The Best Man, Spike Lee's cousin, but he had Wood Harris in his short film called Morningside Prep at NYU. So I met Malcolm at the event. We became friends. Wood actually was at the event. He was the star of Morningside Prep, so I definitely, first thing I told Malcolm, I was like, look, your actor in that film, you know, was blazing, Wood Harris, and I had seen him in Above the Rim. But one thing I did not know is that he was a graduate acting student at NYU, so it's interesting that a lot of people just see people like Wood Harris, but little do they know that we're all people that have sacrificed through the educational route, even on the graduate level, to learn the respective crafts of filmmaking and acting. MC Lyte, I met her through a good friend of mine, Colby Cole, who was a DJ in Philadelphia, and interestingly enough, I had first cast, literally I had Lisa Lopez cast in that same role as Katrina, and we were getting ready literally almost 2 weeks from shooting, and her management said that she could not do any projects outside of the group TLC, so I had to get someone else fast, and it's great that MC Lyte stepped in because she actually gave much more to the role than I think any actress would have given, because she literally, you know, gave all of herself, you know, body, mind, and soul to the role. I think it shows beautifully on film. Esther Roll was in my short film in Boston, and you know, she's the reason why that short film got a lot of exposure. But she literally knew when I got money to do the feature, she knew this would be her last role. Because she told me, she said, "Look, you know, I'm not well. You know, I have diabetes, and it's worn me down. I just finished a film with Maya Angelou down in the Delta." And, but she knew how much this meant to me, so she said, look, you know, Rel, I literally would not do this for anybody but you, so I'm going to tell you the honest truth. She literally rearranged her dialysis treatment from LA to come to Philadelphia to shoot this film at Cheney, and to go to show you her love for the project and for what I was doing. She left, you know, without even getting a check. We had to send her a check later because, as you know, an independent movie, money comes in at various sporadic times, so. You know, I wish that more people would be like Esther Roll, especially in the African-American community, because young filmmakers need a lot of times that extra exposure to give their project that bang. And it's invaluable to work with seasoned talent like Miss Roll at a young age, because it really gives you a perspective of working with seasoned actors and actresses. I'm Russell Hornsby, who I went to school with. I was a graduate student while he was an undergraduate student. He was in the acting program, I was in the filmmaking program. And we became good friends right out the bat, and you know, I think he just, it's funny because he was also in a recent hit show on ESPN called Playmakers, and I can really see his maturation, but he gives this film that raw energy that it needed for that character. So here's Russell, here's Wood, obviously there's Wood, Russell, and this gentleman, Thomas Braxton Jr. I met him in Boston, and he had just finished a film called Black and White and Red All Over. And he was really doing a lot of good things in Boston, and he immediately came to me as the role of Ron. The great thing though, Mike, is that these three guys did not know each other, but now they're like the best of friends. Thomas literally has gone out to LA and stayed with Wood many times to audition for roles, and Wood literally was the leader of these three guys. They looked up to Wood, and they took his advice, and a lot of the career, like from what I understand now, Wood got him a job on The Wire. Russell's now on The Wire. Wood's already been on there for years, but now from what I understand, Russell is now on The Wire as well. And I'm sure that's because somewhere along the line, I'm sure Wood helped pull him into that. Money ran out, and that's when you do an independent movie, you know, that can happen. It's precarious when you're dealing with investors, because money sometimes just has to come in different levels. But you know, at the same time, even though the independent route has its own pitfalls, you know, everyone knows too, is just because you get a studio deal, that might not mean that your film is going to get. A lot of people get studio deals and get excited, and their film goes into turnaround, and their film gets shelved for years. So, you know, it's you got your pros and cons on both sides. But I think the independent route is invaluable because you really get a chance to do things your own way. You get to cast the people who you want to cast. You kind of decide when you think your script is finally ready, and you know, you get the chance to write and direct your first feature. Final thoughts: don't give up. This took me almost 7 years to get done, and you know, you have to persevere. Young people nowadays, you know, have to realize that nothing really happens overnight. But getting the chance to write and direct your first feature is an invaluable experience. I recommend going to film school because film school, you know, it also kind of teaches you the competitive environment of film. You're surviving on your own talent and wits, and a lot of times, you know, other people don't want to see you succeed, you know, especially if you're a minority filmmaker. I was the only minority filmmaker in the Boston University program, but I was also the first African American to win the top prize in film at that school through perseverance and dedication. So it can be done. I just think that people have to realize that, you know, we're in an era right now, a very precarious area, where black films need to be better. They have to be more diverse in content. You know, like Train Ride, like Hotel Rwanda, like you know, like Ray, like, you know, a lot of black films that are going into. We have to kind of look at this situation almost like Mike, like you and I have to be the next wave, almost like the Harlem Renaissance was back in the day. We have to kind of bring those strong storylines back to show diversity, and I think if we do that, we can get a more universal audience. We have to stop, as you and I both know, stop the Soul Planes, the Cookouts, the Marcy X's. What else am I missing, Mike? Give me one more. Just give me one more.
Little Pimp.
Little Pimp, The Watermelon Heist. That's an actual film. We got to stop those films. We got to start making more diverse films. I think once we get that, everybody on the same mindset that we have to all put out quality work, I think that things will get a lot better, and we could even out this playing field a little bit better.
That'd be great. What's next?
What's next is I got a bunch of scripts that I've written, and it's just gonna be a mad dash to the finish line. I want to, you know, tighten them up and start getting them out there ASAP. But I really do think that you know, Train Ride is the kind of film that will literally be like a train. It will start off and gain momentum. I think people will catch on, and it'll have very long staying power. It'll start, you know, to really be a locomotive force. I think it'll live on way beyond its years that it was made, and that'll be the ideal situation. A lasting film that'll be, you know, cross audiences, black, white. It literally could save someone's life if they take it seriously enough, because the type of situations that this film deals with are very real and could happen to anybody of any race. So it could also be used as a good cautionary tale as well as a good universal theme movie.